Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I created magic and miracles for people of all walks of life all around the world to truly learn manifestation and realize how it's effortless, it's easy, it's a piece of cake if you're creative versus desperate, if you really understand practicality, the practicality of the side of manifestation versus, going the route of affirmations and endless repeating of something you actually don't believe in. All right. For this very purpose, for the YouTube audience, I've been a coach for 10 years, 3 years on YouTube now. Love my journey on YouTube and everybody I've met, all the amazing, amazing clients. For those people, I have created what's called a signature coaching program, and it is something completely different than anything else out there on the market. It truly addresses the points that you need to work out before you ever become the master magician. If you follow this program, which I recommend 2 to 3 months in, you will truly revolutionize your life. You will cleanse out all the dirt out of your living room, all the garbage out of your living room, which are the emotions associated with the past. You will process it, you will give it due diligence, and you will reinterpret your entire life and truly ascend to the status of golden Buddha for whom everything is easy. I really truly want you to master your manifestation to such a degree where people look around and look at your life and look around at your life and truly are amazed and dazzled at your transformation. And I help people transform their lives in my coaching. If you are ready to rock and roll, follow my guidance, you don't rebuttal me, and you respect the coach. I've been doing this long enough and with enough people that I see that if a person is willing, okay, to take my guidance, they will truly transform their life. Okay. At the very least, in the first sort of rendezvous with me in the 2 to 3 months, if there's a lot to go through, I will definitely shift you to a higher timeline. It's all a journey. So as long as you're shifting to higher timelines, you're doing something about it. You're not doing anything. So as long as you're shifting, you're progressing. Now, people come back, let's just say 6 months later, a year later, for touch-ups is what I call. And I have a special package for that on my website. The links are below. Touch-up sessions, 5 sessions, and you can use them anytime you want. In the signature coaching program, we need to have a schedule, and I see you 3 times per week. This is the intensity with which I operate in order to shock the old system, the old belief system that's been there for millennia, okay, for decades upon decades. It's time to take out the garbage out of your life. It's time to implement new rules. It's as simple as that. If you've been procrastinating, okay, this is your wake up call. If you've been looking for a sign, this is your sign. Okay, nobody is coming to your rescue. You're going to have to do it yourself. Now, if you have any questions as far as coaching, please email me. But I have a couple of things that I really want to discuss before we get into the topic today. So I created a book club about a month and a half ago now, which truly is doing amazing. You'll be very wise to sign up for 2 reasons. Number one, the price is augmenting on August 15th from 59 to 99, and it is well worth it because I'm finding now that I am doing this with the knowing to whom I'm channeling for and writing my book, in the meantime, really, discussing personal examples, personal success stories, personal stories, all sorts of other things that, quite frankly, I was very uncomfortable sharing on YouTube. Okay, I'm just going to straight up come out and say it for many reasons, of which you know. And it helps me feel more comfortable and thus coach you in a better way. You're going to have to sign the coaching agreement, and that gives me a peace of mind, quite frankly. Okay, after some turbulence that has been going on in the last year. And because of this, the material that I'm channeling is fucking amazing, if I do say so myself. It is basically a mini pocket coach of a package. All right. I really underestimated what it was going to turn out. And I wanted to give everybody the opportunity to join. Okay, at 59. Now, $99 is not going to be where it stays. I'm going to augment it more, because what it's turning out to be actually is that I'm channeling 3 times per week: Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's kind of how I'm doing it. I'm also doing as other courses, okay, for, like, for example, signature energy course. I'm sending it out Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays as well. And I feel like I like this flow. And so, excuse me, essentially, you're getting 12 audios per month for $59. Are you joking? If you're not signing up for that, I don't know what the fuck you're doing with your life. I really don't. So it gives me the comfort zone and comfort level of doing more, channeling more, coaching you more. So grab it while you can. Again, if you lock it in at $59, you will be able to renew it for as long as you like. I don't care if it's a year. You want to purchase a year ahead, go at it. Okay, but lock it in before the 15th. So that's that. For the signature energy course, I'm hearing already feedback. It just started this Monday, just this past Monday. I started dropping the audios. I'm hearing nothing but spectacular things. Not for nothing, as I thought it would be, because I truly poured my heart and soul into it. I really worked really hard on it. I'm already hearing success stories. All right, little ones, but still. So, if you want to sign up for the Signature Energy course, the links are below. I also created, for all of the packages that are coaching packages, even do it yourself packages, the installment payment links. So now you have no excuses. Even if you don't have all the money right now, there are links specifically only for US residents. I apologize to the rest of the world. It's just not, I'm just reporting back. It's nothing I can do about it, but take advantage of it. Okay. Also, because the Signature Energy course is turning out to be absolutely amazing. I have only a few chapters to finish recording. But the thing is, it's at 1050 right now. It will go up to 1250 and potentially more, because really the information that I'm giving you will literally change your life. This is not an exaggeration. I don't bullshit you guys. I tell it to you like it is. Okay. I don't just, like, exaggerate things to make money. I really want you to get the best out of this coaching program. Okay. So that's that. If you have any questions, if I haven't answered something that you had a question about, blue, blah, blue, as far as coaching, just email me. All right. And that's the way to go about it. So the topic of today is change realities with your SP retroactively. So if you want to call this a technique, a method of sorts, then you can do so. But it's one of the most powerful methods, techniques that I've ever employed in my personal life. And in 2015, right before I became a coach, I did exactly that. Okay. Um, there was no SP, there is that, but it doesn't matter. Essentially, you can change realities retrospectively in whatever capacity, in whatever situation that you may be facing. Okay, literally changing the past so that what you're wishing to come true right now is already playing out. So I'm going to explain. So this would apply in circumstances like you want to quantum leap, you want to change timelines, you want to correct something. Like, let's just say you chase somebody and you came off as a fool. Okay. Or you just want to correct the circumstances, or you want to correct something within them. You want to correct something within your life, period. This is what I did. I'm going to start out by talking about what I did, and then we'll go into my notes. Okay. So, first of all, I want to say this: who says you cannot rewrite the past? Okay. Can you believe that the past can actually change just by changing your mind about it? And so I gave in the post about this live the example of Back to the Future. So this will kind of facilitate in your mind. If you're familiar with the movie, actually, one happens to be one of my favorite movies, not for nothing, because the idea is so fascinating and it actually works. So this is what I did, and everything, I'm teaching and coaching, I did this myself, which is how I know it works. So in 2015, I was having this, you could say, crisis, okay, personal crisis, professional crisis, this, that, and the other, and I really had, and I've told this story before, but nevertheless, touching on this really quick, I really had the choice to really get depressed. There are a lot of things not working out, a lot of things that I invested time in, and blah blah blah. And instead, I really saw the opportunity to quantum leap to another timeline. And intuitively, and already, having read and researched and this and that, I already knew kind of, sort of, okay, what I had to do. Now I had to put it in practice. What I literally did one night is I came up with a story. Now, it cannot be unbelievable to you. It cannot be that your mind does not buy into this story. This is kind of like in short, and then we'll explore, like I said. But I literally created a story that, which, if this story was true, now at this moment in time, back then, I would have had a different outlook on life. I had to reinterpret certain things. I had to forgive these people that caused me trouble and this and that. But most importantly, I had to reinterpret my own life. Again, cannot be unbelievable, but I tweaked certain circumstances in my past that really, I did not prefer them. Certain things, certain situations, again, cannot be unbelievable. You always have to draw on truth first. But essentially, I wrote out a script. This is my past. Okay. And this is who I am now. And this is how I'm going. This is the mood that I'm creating around my life. And again, big parenthesis here, not to be underestimated, there needed to be huge forgiveness. I did not realize like how unforgiving I was. Yes, even to the people who wronged me. Okay. This alone will revolutionize your life. Forgiving people without waiting for an apology, without waiting for them to come back and blah blah blah. Taking ownership of your world, taking ownership of your reality, and declaring, listen, everybody, I'm in charge here. So if I am to create something completely brand new, spectacular, something that I truly want, whether that's SP money or whatever, business career, then I have to change my mind about what had just occurred. And I have to thus connect to a different timeline in which my story verbatim is going to play out. This is a gift. Now, parenthesis here still. I know a lot of people, not for nothing, are really kind of like salivating after their desires. And in some cases are really desperate. Let's just be honest. It's not a judgment. It's not that. It's just that the energy of it gives you away. What I am proposing here to you is to go from desperate to creative. Now, anybody can pick up a notebook or a piece of paper and start writing. And yet people don't do that for themselves. They don't create this creativity, okay, no kind of like double pun intended or whatever it's called. They don't allow themselves to be creative and play around, right? So because the 3D and the circumstances has your kind of attention so much. But what if you just flipped the script entirely and you just boldly requested whatever the fuck you wanted? In the case of SP, this SP was always in love with me. They always wanted to marry me. In the case of I have always been successful. I just haven't found yet the idea. However you want to interpret it. This is what coaching is for. And I go through these things one on one in coaching. But whatever the circumstance, let's just take the circumstance of chasing. Okay. And I've discussed this before on my channel. But let's just say you reinterpret from being ashamed and really kind of humiliated that you chased this person and then now they're no longer talking to you. Let's just take the most disastrous example of chasing. Okay, you chased them and chased them and chased them for many months on end, and they never responded to any of your messages and basically like totally ghosted you. But meanwhile, you're really in love with this person and you feel not only that, but you really feel abandoned and also embarrassed. Okay, I've dealt with everything in my coaching, and nothing is impossible in that sense. So with that, what you do, first of all, you do need to stop chasing, obviously. But even that you can reinterpret as, I was so in love and I was so well meaning towards this person that this was the demonstration of my love. As long as you reinterpret it and the humiliation and the embarrassment goes, and now you have a new feeling attached to it, like they'll be hard pressed to find somebody like me who would really love them like this. Even though in your mind right now, may not make so much sense, you might still feel embarrassed and really guilty of that and ashamed. If you insist on this interpretation, your reality will start to morph into something that the other person will start receiving new messages from you. Not, I'm embarrassed, I'm humiliated, but you'd be hard pressed to find, as an example, somebody like me who goes out of their way for somebody they love. Now, this puts you back into the driver's seat. You're no longer the victim, you're the powerful creator. If I want, I fucking chase. If I want to stop, I fucking stop. You could say it like that. Okay. So chasing is obviously not the way to go, but you say it this way because you know what? Fuck it. People I've chased. Okay. I've chased people and it's stupid and not productive. But the thing is, are you going to feel horrible about it? Or are you going to reinterpret it, even that shed, in your favor? That's the entire premise. So it is actually revision, but and of course, it has to be believable. But what you need to understand, by revising these specific emotions, these specific ideas inside your head, you're literally not the same person. And as long as your mind buys into this reality and to this timeline completely and wholly, you're now on that timeline. I just gave you the kind of like the synopsis of this live. Okay, guys, thumb up my live. Let's kind of like trigger the algorithm. If you're watching, please thumb up. All right, and you're rewatching later, please thumb up the live. Thank you. Excuse me, so thirsty already. So you can definitely revise the past. You can change the past. You can tweak an idea in the present moment. Hey, wait a minute. It wasn't that I chased. It wasn't that I looked stupid. It's that I am the best thing that they have ever encountered in their lives. And therefore, they're right now realizing, again, they'll never find anybody like me. And therefore, in their mind, it will turn around also. You can do this with your finances. You could do this with your business. You can do this with whatever, just boldly declaring, wait a minute, I made a mistake. I'm not that person at all. It's all a matter of perception. I'm actually this person. And in most cases in my coaching, I find that the person is actually more down on themselves, if more than they really need to be. They're actually a wonderful person. Like 99.99% of my clients are wonderful people. Once in a blue moon, you know, something happens and some weirdo comes into my coaching. And a couple of times I had to part with those. But 99.999% of my clients are absolutely wonderful people who deserve more credit. And so right now, I already, as it is right now, you can write your new story and change your past and change the way that SP looks at you or whatever it is. And I'm going to give you some examples. Now, really quick, what I wanted to say is that don't try to make it happen. It will happen on its own, just by decision alone. If you're really on board with that decision, if you're really plugged in into this timeline with your heart, with your emotion, with your acceptance. Yes, this story could be true. Not like it couldn't possibly be true, or I don't deserve it, or they'll never look at me again. You cannot talk like this. You actually have to have had enough of this fucking timeline, enough that you completely want a change. You're thirsty for change and you're deliberate and you're fucking focused. Okay. So don't try to make it happen. Don't manipulate it. Don't force it. It's an effortless assumption. It's amusing. Again, it's going from being desperate to being creative. I want you to remember these things. We're not desperate here. Okay, we're fucking golden Buddhas. So we're being creative and on purpose selecting a different path. Every single time you make a change in the present moment, your past changes any fucking way. What I'm offering to you is the possibility of doing it with precision and on purpose. And it works like fucking magic, may I tell you. And I'm going to give you some examples, as I said. From Shed Show to Glory should be the title of these examples. Um, as an example, um, making text disappear. A text exchange occurred between me and a person. Okay, that I wish I didn't say certain things or said them differently, etc., etc. I plugged that intention. I wrote it out. I actually said what I wanted to see instead. And a couple of months later, through circumstances and inspired action, I actually saw confirmation that I found in my iPad. Those texts literally transformed. Okay. Not only the text disappeared, but the sequence of exchange was transformed as well. So that the texts, and from me, don't reflect anymore what I would have not wanted to say. Let's just say, okay, I lost my temper with this one SP and I didn't want to. And I wanted to correct that. Okay, because truth be told, I want to treat everybody fairly and nicely. And even if that person wasn't nice to me, I still wanted to not have that, in my past. And as a kind of a game, I transform those texts. That's one example. And this is something that you can do as well, whether that's emails or, literal physical evidence or the lack thereof that either appears or disappears because of your choice alone. Okay. Predicting an SP letter verbatim, one of my SPs. Okay. Another example, coming back and begging. Okay, me predicting that in a song. So in essence, I wrote a song about this SP who again didn't work out, blah blah blah, and I adjusted it in the song. Again, whether it's a song or it's a story or it's a script, it truly doesn't matter. You adjust and you start predicting and you start telling a different story and playfully, creatively, not in a desperate way. I completely transformed that. And guess what? That SP literally verbatim came back telling me those things precisely. Okay. Not just close to it, but those exact words. Okay. So I literally shifted timelines. People not recognizing me. People have dated. I've talked about this before. Um, in a lawsuit, actually talked about that as well before. In a lawsuit, and it was down to the wire and in the last minute I did not actually make that lawyer make a mistake. It just happened so because I wanted to for everything to go in my favor. And so the opposite party's lawyer in the last minute made a mistake simply because I wrote so. Everything is in my favor. We're doing this right now. And actually, I did this in 1 day. So you could do this if you have this kind of skill and you're developing and you can jump timelines in 1 day. So what you're doing, okay, is you're taking the snapshot of the present and you're saying to yourself, okay, I don't like what I see. What should have happened in the past so that the present moment gets affected? And you entirely dwell on what had to have happened in the past. Can't believe I just made through that sentence. uh, what should have happened in the past for the present moment to change. So it's the past is always accommodating your choices in the present moment. So it's like a video editing app. something that just came to mind. If you're editing a video, there needs to be a continuity. Like, like live TV, it's not all live. Some of it is pre-recorded, and for continuity, sometimes, you need to keep certain outfits on a certain way, or, if a dialogue gets interrupted, you need to pick up from that point, etc., etc. So there needs to be a continuity. So the universe will never kind of not have a continuity in that sense. So if you're making a new choice, an assumption for continuity's purpose, the past has to be different. And the amount of examples for yourself and the success stories for yourself that you can create will be unfucking parallel. Let me tell you, to the moon and back. You have no idea how powerful this is, and so simple and elegant. Like I said in the beginning, has to be practical, it has to be simple. Manifestation is not woo woo, is not witchcraft, it's not nothing, none of these things. It's just understanding how metaphysics works, how quantum physics works, how your mind works. It's all psychology related, actually, more than anything, in my opinion. So some things maybe to wonder, play around with yourself and say, hey, remember when, ba, 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 meaning you're placing something that you want to manifest in the past. So you change the past, you're making your request in the present, and the past changes. So now you're saying to yourself, as if it already happened, hey, remember when I did that thing and this happened? That's really powerful. Remember when I scripted and that came true? Remember when that person came back with that letter? Remember when they proposed to me? Remember when they came back begging? Blue, blah, 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 blah. Play with your mind like that. Again, my favorite, another one is, wouldn't it be funny if? Okay. Or just ask the higher self, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, whatever, directly. Hey, higher self. And this, one of the cases in my life, I literally had to go to my higher self and be like, listen, I need a miracle here. Okay. Basically speaking, and I need you to transport me to another timeline, like this, and like that. And again, I did this in one day. I mean, you could hop from one timeline to another like a fucking rabbit if you wanted to. So, whatever the struggle right now that you're facing, that they haven't chosen you, that they haven't proposed to you, that you've always been unlucky in love, and all this mumbo jumbo, that's just one aspect of reality. You can make another choice today very lightheartedly, and experience that timeline to such a degree. Well, you're actually going to be a little bit mad at yourself, because you're going to realize, I could have done this all along. Like, I could have done this all along. It's a lot simpler than you think. I cannot believe I'm half hour into it already. I have so much more to say. Another one, not to brag, but I got a law passed that was instrumental in one of my legal situations in the past. It was so bizarre. It was literally the year that the lawsuit was filed. It wasn't a lawsuit, it was a legal thing. There was a law that was instrumental. Like, there was no other way for me to get my way. And the law was passed like 2 months prior, okay, to this, or somewhere around that time, as my legal situation arose. And that, for my lawyer, that was instrumental to take that law and run with it in order for me to get my way. I mean, crazy shit like that, because I just declared to the universe, said, I don't care how. But parenthesis, I'm time, traveling, basically, quantum leaping, traveling to another timeline. I don't care how, but we're getting this done. Okay, when you don't care how and you just focus on the what, I mean, your power is like turbocharged completely. Understand that this reality that you keep on living, and it seems like Groundhog Day, you keep choosing this for some reason. There's something to work out. The detachment emotionally, like I mentioned again in the beginning, is crucial. The forgiveness, the letting go, the reinterpretation, so that you can be creative, so that you can be playful as a child. Okay, as a child is playing. This is not that serious. It seems serious. It's not this, especially in the affairs of the heart. Come on, it's not that serious. It's a child can do it. Okay, not that they should be romantically involved. I'm just saying that was completely, I misspoke. But Anybody can do it. Let's put it this way. Oh my God, can the slide be still? Be still and know that I am God. Guys, thumb up the video. I'm gonna continue reminding you. All right. So these are the examples. Comment below what are your examples. When maybe you experienced this timeline shift that it was so discombobulating. You were like, I could have sworn this person had a daughter. They no longer have a daughter. I could have sworn this person's name was this. No, their name is not Kevin. Their name is, I don't know, Bob or something like that. I could have sworn that this building was over there. Oh, that happened to me too. I could have sworn there was no tree here yesterday. That happened to me too. So I want you to get used to this reality just being so malleable that you're literally playing with it like you're playing with clay. This is how I want you to think of reality. And therefore, nothing is stagnant. Only your mind can be stagnant, attached to a certain emotion, to a certain idea, but reality is not. Reality is literally changing from 1 billionth of second to the next. That's how fast reality is changing. So, make such amazing changes in your mind. Make such amazing, bold choices. Basically, you're unfucking limited in this purpose, in this exercise, in this life, period. But in this principle that I'm outlining, you are completely unlimited. You can become anybody. You can become a singer, a movie star, a poet, a writer, a painter, completely diametrically opposed from what you are right now. Perhaps you can be the most charming person all of a sudden, the most attractive person to the opposite sex, when all your life before you weren't. Okay, it's kind of like for me, when I went from really failing in relationships miserably and choosing losers, not for nothing, because I felt like a loser myself up until then, to dramatically shifting my romantic life to such a degree that I could barely believe these people are choosing me. But inside, I knew the work that I've done on my self esteem and self confidence. It will be day and fucking night. So today, you're sitting maybe crying or being upset over your SP. Darling, this is not the end of your story. You have the whole entire universe to choose from. So make such amazing changes and bold choices to your life that it feels almost illegal. Okay. It almost feels like it's not allowed for you somehow, because some of you, a lot of you, again, I should say, are people pleasers and grew up in homes when you were told no a lot. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. I know my mother told me that a lot. No, you look like a whore and don't do this. Don't dress in your own clothes. Like, because I made clothes as, like since 5 years old, I was making clothes. But, at age 15, I literally had my own custom made design wardrobe. Started back then, just as I started modeling. I was told no a lot. So I learned, internalized to be ashamed of myself, of my dreams, of the things that I fucking wanted. Well, time to drop that shit. Okay, not for nothing. I stood up to my mother a lot. And really, just I'm going to give you one example that's going to illustrate that. Somehow I had that boldness because I spent some time in France and Italy away from her, and that was really instrumental in my development. Thank you, Jesus. Welcome to Church of Magic and Miracles. Um, Listen, I grew up into religions, all right? So relax. I'm not making fun of religion by any stretch of the imagination. I only say it half kiddingly. Thank you, Jesus. But I saw the other side of reality, that it's playful, it's creative. There are a lot of beautiful people out there. They're not all like my fucking mother who always says no. The universe always says yes. Okay. So encourage yourself to dream big, to ask for the biggest and the highest of changes. There's no limit. Be totally shameless. I just want to read this from my notes. Be totally shameless in your requests and subsequent victories, and always only ask for the best and the highest, because the best and the highest that you think that is the best and the highest now is just barely scratching the surface. You ain't seen nothing yet. It's all just beginning. The show is just beginning because once you transfer yourself to that timeline, you're going to be like a kid in a candy store. Like, what else can I manifest? What else? What kind of fucking miracle can I make happen now that I have proven to myself that I can fucking do this shit? That's how playful and excited I want you to be. Okay. So here's the example with my mother. First, I want to mention the point. Of course, the fears are gonna come up and the doubts and blah blah blah, all this garbage we know. Get louder than your fears. They're loud. The fears, the doubts, the insecurities, they're loud. You need to get fucking louder. All the fear is doing is training you, okay, to eventually get emotionally unattached from the fear and not react to it. It's like a trainer, it's like a coach in the other direction. Like they're gonna continue showing up like a toxic fucking person, trying to provoke you, trying to manipulate you into an unhealthy reaction until you say, sayonara, darling, no more. And then they go. So be louder than the fears, be more creative and excited about the outcome that you constantly and consistently are meditating upon, and that becomes more loud than the fears, and you'll eventually break them all down, you'll dismantle them. One of the examples that I want to give to you, when I was 15 or 16 years old, and I was so done with my mom. I was done because she was, as you guys know, narcissistic people are a handful. But she would do something in the morning, because I like to exercise in the morning, like in my room. I had my own room, and I would exercise with my weights and just have this kind of meditation sort of deal. I would listen to my favorite music. I would write a little bit. I was that kind of kid. I wanted to get into my world of fantasy, of my own kind of world. Okay. And to me, that world was very much real. All the things that I wanted to do that I'm living today, and all this to her it was nonsense, but I couldn't give a flying fuck. And so what I would do was, she would be screaming about my choice of music and everything about me was wrong and blah 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 blah. She was so nasty. You know what I did? I locked my room. I literally kid you not. I remember it so crystal clear. It takes me back a little bit. Locked my room, with a key, so she couldn't fucking come in. And I would turn my music all the way fucking up. I didn't care. We had a full floor apartment, no neighbors and this and that. So full blast my music, and I would just exercise and be like, bitch, I can't fucking hear you. I know you're there, you're talking, but I don't give a shit. And I just started my morning like this on purpose because I wanted to be with my dreams. I wanted to be with my creations. I didn't want to hear her mouth. You have to be louder than your fears. You have to demonstrate your light is actually a lot more powerful than any fucking fear, than any toxic person, than any kind of other negative influence. You have no idea the kind of power that you have. Or maybe you do. So start exercising. So I told you about the fears. Um, get louder. Instead, get louder. Louder than them, and turn up the volume on your own tune. On your own tune, on your own program. Your own program has to completely override, based on your choices, based on your timeline, based on whatever you want to create, not other people, not other fears or whatever, whatever. This is the program. This is what I'm doing. This is what is happening. I have complete backing of my higher self, and I know it's going to happen. And so the excitement of it needs to be there. It's not enough to decide what kind of timeline you want to belong to. You need to call it in with excitement. It has to excite you that now you are in this timeline where this no longer is a problem. This thing that you used to call a problem is no more. It's done, it's over with. Can you visit that timeline in your feeling, in your excitement? I'll give you another example from my life. This is turning out to be a lot of examples, and I hope you enjoy them. Few years ago now, I was getting divorced for the second time. and my second husband was an absolute narcissist, and he dragged it out for forever, and it made it difficult, and blah blah blah, and it all backfired on him, of course, and obviously. But there was a moment in time when I really felt like, is this ever going to be over? Like, is he ever going to let me the fuck go? Because narcissists, as you know, are really kind of like, they want to hold on to you forever, because that's what they do. That's how they spend their fucking time, because they're losers. But what I did is I selected a song, okay, and I'm not gonna say which song. It's personal, but choose a song all the same that represents something to you, like a completion. I'm transferring myself to another timeline where this problem is no more. I'm requesting from my higher self, this problem is no more. This has turned around and I'm at the end of it. I'm right now embodying the end. I'm right now feeling like this is finished. I don't know how to explain it, but when I was listening to the song, when I would be taking a walk by myself or taking a walk with my dog, or, just working and maybe listening to it, in between meetings, et cetera, this feeling came over me and I started feeling like, yeah, it's finally going to be finished. I'm no longer attached to the drama. I'm no longer entertaining anything that he's saying or not saying, and this and what he's trying. I'm zeroing in on this frequency of, it's finished. It's in my favor. I'm done with this person. And soon thereafter, things have happened that were again instrumental to me, bringing him to justice and completely discarding him out of my life. You can have another example that you're working on right now. You can have this example of, I can't believe, that I can get married, or I wish that this SP already returned to me, or I want them to apologize. Insert your kind of wish. Go into that frequency, go into that timeline, and connect with, it's already happened. It's happened. Okay, we are married. This is what I declare as my timeline, home timeline to be. That we're married and all of these worries are out the fucking window. I'm louder than my fears. I'm louder than my insecurities. I'm louder than anything else opposing it, because I'm that passionate and deliberate about this timeline. Okay. You have no idea. You can do this every month if you wanted to. It's just not necessary. The big things in your life, the relationship, the money, the business, etc., cook on that frequency, meaning cook this idea on your frequency and ruminate in it and just absorb this feeling of, this is unprecedented magic. This is going to be quick. This is going to be in my favor. I'm finally going to get what I want. And when I'm going to get there, I'm not going to remember how else it was possible. Like, how else could I have lived? Okay, you need to switch the timelines from this body to the other body, the person who's already experiencing this something miraculous. Okay, but over there, you're not going to remember. You're going to remember, but it's going to be like this disconnect from this other version of yourself completely, because you're not going to have any emotional attachment to this version of yourself. How did I ever used to be this pushover? How did I ever used to be this miserable person? How did I ever function in this dysfunction? I should have been in this reality all along, and thank goodness that I am now. This is how unfamiliar it will become, the previous timeline. Okay. And so, excited into existence. Sorry, I'm going to read a little bit here. Know that when the frequency rises, not everything will remain the same. Okay, really, really not. And you have to be ready for that and trust the universe. There will be some adjustments made by the universe. Okay, you're trusting the universe, you're giving it directions, and you're giving it a new story. It needs to rearrange it. And so, like a mosaic all around you, this 360 bubble is going to rearrange itself based on your assumption. It You need to let that happen. Don't try to control it. Don't try to micromanage it. Just state your desire. I want to be in a timeline in which retroactively I'm changing the situation. This person didn't like me before, or wasn't gaga over me, wasn't chasing me. No, they've always chased me. This is how it's always been. I'm connecting to this timeline purposefully and with discipline and consistency now. I don't know any other fucking way. I'm literally this different person. Now, again, as I often like to stress, I'm not asking you to be psychotic, okay, with multiple personality disorder or whatever, they call it. Not that at all. I'm asking you to contemplate what is the highest, the best, and the highest timeline in which the corresponding version of you, the highest and the best and the highest version of you, is now being introduced to this timeline. Go there now and feel it. Be bold about it, as I said. Be like I was in my teenagehood. Shut the door on the da 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 and blast your tune. Like no, like your life depended on it, because it fucking does. And ultimately, all of this, number 6 and the last point, my goodness, 45 minutes all in one breath, it feels like. It's in the name of total restoration. You're fixing something. You came to this timeline that you're occupying right now to fix something, okay? To adjust something, to process something. All right. You need total restoration, and the universe will support you in it. Your desire is divinely guided. And therefore, this is what makes you, coupled again with you being benevolent, okay, that you're doing it in the name of self restoration, self improvement, hurting no one. The universe will back you. Like, I can't even find the words right now. I hope it comes through in this life, like how magical this power of decision truly is. A decision and commitment in feeling and intention towards the new timeline. It has never been any other way. This is how I've always lived. In the beginning, it will sound like a lie. And of course, you need to get there. Now, I'm telling you why that helps you with your SP situation and mama drama panorama that you're experiencing now. If you don't change the timelines, if you don't change the interpretation of what is happening right now, and you continue residing on this timeline, you will not derive any benefit. You need to turn the shit around, and you need to revise and reinterpret what has happened up until now in such a way where it literally morphs into something else. Okay. And in the most unbelievable scenarios, this person that you used to chase, or this person, provided they were not abusive, you know my stance on that. I wrote a whole fucking post about that. I'm not promoting that at all, that my teachings be applied to that. Not in a million fucking years. If a person was abusive, sayonara, have a nice day, have a nice kick in the ass, okay? By the karma that will be served upon you. Listen, it's just what it is. All right, you don't need people like that in your life. But if it's something, a misunderstanding, maybe it was your insecurity, maybe blah blah blah, the third party, blah blah blah, you can literally jump realities and jump timelines in such an unrecognizable way, where you yourself will be like, how the fuck is this possible? This person was like this, and now it's a different person entirely. Now it's a different set of circumstances altogether. You can hardly believe your eyes, but because you were bold enough to connect emotionally, and you took steps, whether that's the song that inspired you, whether that's your own script that connected you emotionally, whether that's whatever, whether that you saw a movie and it inspired you in a particular way, you deliberately, like a motherfucking stubborn donkey, connected to that reality, and you were unwilling to let go. I don't know about you, but I'm very, very stubborn about my choices of emotions. Once I decide on something, this is the timeline I'm going, and how you like me now, I'm going there, and that's about it. In effect, I'm kind of grateful for my mother being such a bitch, because she really trained me. Like I said, your fears, your toxic people in your life, they're really good trainers. They're trainers. How deliberate are you going to be about it? I think they're the best trainers, actually. Many a time, like, listen, I've been resentful about my mom for a long time, like previous to letting it all go 15 years ago. And now I'm just so thankful because I don't think I would be the same person without all the other toxic people, quite frankly. They really built my character. And so when you reinterpret it this way, when you really take the best out of everything and then you fly higher to another dimension, to another timeline, it becomes a different conversation for you. And it truly becomes that you're being creative and not fucking desperate at all because you understand everything that I've outlined in this live video. Any questions, guys? Wow, that was so fast. Like I breezed through it. Any questions, guys? So total restoration, the final point is the final destination is you arriving to that timeline, you seeing the fruits of your labor. Literally, the person will act in the specific way that you instructed them to do. That circumstance will change in the specific way that you instructed it to do. That lawsuit will turn around, that business will turn around, that circumstance, all of these things because you've jumped timelines. And listen, on the other timeline, that other version of you still exists. Whatever. You're over here on this timeline celebrating and being victorious. If you just focus on what I just told you, on this new idea of what it is you're changing, and you don't accept any other idea, just start today. You could do this in one day. Start small, start with something small, create a really opposite intention to something that you're seeing right now. But you need to convince yourself first. There's nobody else to convince but you. If your mind is convinced, it's game over. Your mind has connected to that timeline. You've already jumped there. You're already there. You don't need anybody's fucking validation, confirmation, blah, blah, blah. You're there. Period. The end. That's the situation. All right. I've covered all of my notes. If there's no more questions, I will conclude. And again, I will reiterate that you absolutely should join the book club if you want to help yourself in any way, in any shape or form. It's turning out beautifully, way, way, way better than I expected it to, because I feel the intention went out into the universe that I want to write this book. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but it's going to be, if I do say so myself, I'm not bragging on me. I'm just bragging on my higher self and my channeling ability. It's going to be unparalleled. You will learn more things just from those audios alone for like $59. 12 video audios. Are you joking right now? In a month until the 15th of August. After that, it's $99. And after that, I will increase it further. But I always want to help and I want to give as much as possible to you, outside the one-on-one coaching. So take advantage of it. And like I said, if you need the installment payment links, they're all in the description below. And if you can't find one, just email me. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Ciao, ciao. Big kiss.